Welcome back to the channel, soap fans. It is a beautiful day to dive into some absolute daytime television madness. Grab your strongest cup of coffee or a massive glass of wine because we have an astronomical amount of drama to unpack from our latest trip to Port Charles. Let's just jump straight into this chaos. I am literally typing this at 2 in the morning because I cannot sleep. I cannot sleep. I mean, we all knew the Wyndemere hostage situation was going to blow up eventually, and we all knew Willow's twisted little poison game was on borrowed time, but I did not expect them to pull the trigger on both storylines in the exact same hour. My heart is still pounding out of my chest. I need to vent, I need to scream, and I desperately need to know if I am the only one who literally jumped off the couch screaming at my television screen tonight. We have to talk about Drew. We have to talk about Willow. And sweet mother of daytime drama, we absolutely have to talk about Liesl Obrecht. Let's start with the hospital room, because my jaw is literally still on the floor. I can't believe they actually did that. I really can't. So, Willow is sitting there by Drew's hospital bed, looking all tragic and beautiful, practically whispering her entire villain monologue right into his ear. She is literally confessing to everything. She is pouring her heart out about shooting him, drugging him, keeping him in a locked-in state, the whole 9 yards. And right in the middle of her tearful, twisted confession about how she is doing all of this for their family and to protect her own secrets, Drew's eyes snap open. They snapped open. But here is the absolute genius part, the part that made me scream so loud my dog woke up. He didn't gasp. He didn't choke. He didn't immediately try to strangle her or call for the nurses. He just closed his eyes again. He went right back into playing possum. Drew Kane, the man who has been a literal vegetable for weeks, just pulled off the greatest acting job in Port Charles history. He is awake, he heard every single word of her horrific confession, and he is choosing violence by choosing absolute silence. And honestly, I am so here for it. Because if he had just woken up and yelled for Hamilton, Finn, or Elizabeth, Willow would have spun it. She would have played the devoted, traumatized wife, cried some fake tears, and probably found a way to gaslight the entire hospital staff into thinking it was a hallucination or a muscle spasm. But Drew knows better now. He is laying there, completely paralyzed by choice, letting her continue to inject him just so he can silently gather the evidence of his daily poisoning. Do you know how much willpower that takes? To let the woman who betrayed you stick a needle in your arm while you plot her absolute destruction from the inside of your own mind? It is so dark, so twisted, and I am loving every single second of it. I know some people are loving Willow's dark villain era, but personally, I am so ready to see her burn. Because let's be real about Willow for a second. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, back to the point. Willow actually thinks she is winning. She genuinely believes she has outsmarted everyone in town. She leaves Drew's room after confessing her sins and immediately goes right back to negotiating with Jack Brennan, trying to secure that federal embezzlement leverage to keep Drew quiet permanently. The sheer audacity of this woman. Remember when she was just a sweet, innocent schoolteacher dealing with the Dawn of Day cult in Shiloh? Yeah, that innocent girl is long gone. Now she is bargaining with federal criminals and playing God with her husband's life. She is so confident, so incredibly arrogant, thinking she has Brennan wrapped around her finger and Drew locked in a mental prison forever. She has no idea that the walls aren't just closing in, they are about to crush her completely. But the absolute kicker? The plot twist that made me pause the episode and pace around my living room? Drew secretly contacting Michael. Yes, Michael Corinthos, the man who has been actively trying to blow up Brooklyn's marriage by pushing Chase and Willow together. Drew manages to get a message to Michael, and suddenly, these two are forming the most toxic, vengeful alliance Port Charles has seen in a decade. A dramatic, earth-shattering takedown plan is officially in motion. Michael already hates what Willow has become, and now he has the ultimate weapon, Drew's eyewitness testimony to his own attempted murder and daily poisoning. I mean, the irony is just delicious. Michael was busy setting a petty cheating trap at the boathouse, but Drew is setting a literal federal prison trap. And I am just picturing the fallout. This isn't just going to be a quiet divorce with some shared custody of the kids. This is going to be a public execution in front of the entire Quartermain family. Imagine the scene. The mansion, the living room, Tracy sitting there with her martini, Brooke Lynn looking vindicated, and Drew just walking in on his own 2 feet. Willow's betrayal is going to destroy everything she has ever built. She is going to be facing decades in a federal penitentiary for attempted murder, kidnapping, and God knows what else. And the spoilers are hinting that she is going to have to make an impossible choice. Face justice and the absolute wrath of the Quartermains, or go on the run with Jen Sidwell. Jen Sidwell. Can you imagine Willow Tate packing her bags and going on the run with a global crime lord just to avoid jail time? I am dreading it and anticipating it all at once. It would be the ultimate fall from grace. But as much as I am living for the Drew and Willow drama, we absolutely have to pivot to Spoon Island because Liesl Obrecht just delivered the performance of the century. I am sorry, but Kathleen Gotti deserves every single Emmy they have in the vault. Just back up the truck and hand them over right now. Last week, we saw Cassius tell her that Nathan was dead and cremated, and she slapped him so hard my own cheek stung. We thought she was broken. We thought she was just going to be a weeping, defeated mess in that Wyndemere cell next to Jocelyn. We thought Cullum had finally won. We were so wrong. Liesl wiped her tears, put on her big girl pants, and pretended to cooperate. She looked Ross Cullum and Cassius right in the eye and agreed to take Britt's place on the cold fusion project. She used her brilliant, twisted medical knowledge to get access to the lab chemicals. They thought she was building Cesar Faison's prototype. They thought they had successfully broken a grieving mother and bent her to their will. Idiots. Absolute idiots. Did they forget who they were dealing with? This is Dr. Liesl Obrecht. She wasn't building a power source. She was quietly, methodically synthesizing a deadly poison right under their noses. She was mixing chemicals while they were checking their watches, turning a science project into a lethal weapon. And then she made her move. I was literally holding my breath. When Cassius let his guard down for just one single second, she struck. She didn't just knock him out with a beaker. She slipped him that deadly toxin. Watching Cassius realize he had been poisoned by his own mother was chilling. The look of absolute shock and betrayal on his face. But Liesl didn't stop there. Oh no. She grabbed him, hauled his dying body up, and used him as a literal human shield to walk right out into the corridor to face Ross Cullum. She used her own son as a human shield. The sheer, unadulterated ruthlessness of it all. I cannot believe they went there. And we have to talk about Jocelyn's reaction to all of this. Jocelyn Jax has been acting so tough in that cell for weeks. She's been planning escapes, finding Anna Devane's old shivs hidden in the walls, taunting Pascal, acting like she is the ultimate survivor who can handle anything. But watching Liesl operate, watching this grieving mother turn into a cold-blooded assassin right in front of her eyes, Jocelyn was absolutely terrified. You could see the pure horror radiating from her. She finally realized that she is completely out of her depth. She is playing checkers, and Liesl is playing three-dimensional chess with live ammunition and biological weapons. Jocelyn realized in that moment just how terrifying a mother can become when she loses her beloved son all over again. It was a masterclass in facial acting from Eda McCoy, just absolute stunned silence. Now we have this incredibly tense, cinematic standoff in the Wyndemere sub-basement. Ross Cullum is standing there with his gun, thinking he is the baddest man on the island, the ultimate double agent. But Liesl is staring him down with the eyes of a woman who has absolutely nothing left to lose. She has Cassius bleeding out and gasping for air in front of her, and she is looking at Cullum like he is already a corpse. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. I mean, Cullum has been a menace for months. He dragged her into this mess. He kidnapped her. He shot Marco. He hunted Rocco. And now, he is looking into the face of pure, unfiltered, Cassadine-adjacent vengeance. Liesl's vow in that moment. When she swore that she would make every single person involved in Nathan's death pay with their own lives. Chills. Literal chills all over my body. This isn't just about escaping anymore. This is a holy war. She's going to burn Spoon Island to the ground if she has to. Remember when she held Peter August captive in that cabin? Remember how we thought that was peak Obrecht? Yeah, that was child's play compared to this. She is out for blood, and she doesn't care who gets caught in the crossfire. She is operating on pure grief and rage, and that makes her the most dangerous person in Port Charles right now. We are barreling toward a massive, bloody shootout on Spoon Island. A total bloodbath is inevitable at this point. You've got Cullum with his weapons, you've got a poisoned Cassius fading fast, you've got a terrified Jocelyn who might just use those shivs after all, and you've got an unhinged Liesl with a death wish and a pocket full of synthesized poison. Plus, we know Carly is snooping around the property looking for Jocelyn, and Sunny, Laura, and Lucas are making their own moves against Sidwell. All these storylines are crashing together at Wyndemere, and I honestly don't know who is going to make it out alive. Are they really going to kill off Cassius this quickly, after bringing him in as Nathan's twin? Is Cullum finally going to meet his maker? I am so stressed out just thinking about it. So, To wrap up this massive late night rant, I just have to say that General Hospital is firing on all cylinders right now. Between Drew playing the ultimate long game against a delusional Willow, and Liesl turning into a lethal weapon to avenge Nathan, the women of Port Charles are making some terrifying choices, and the men are paying the absolute highest price. I am half celebrating these amazing, dramatic storylines and half complaining about the sheer stress it is causing my nervous system. I need to know what you guys think. Am I crazy for rooting for Drew's toxic revenge plot with Michael? Are you as terrified of Liesl as Jocelyn is? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I desperately need to share this with people who actually get it. Until next time, stay soapy and keep your eyes peeled.